what do you think is a legitimate punishment? Like, what is a good punishment for doing this type of shit? Like, what would you call this other than lying to authorities? False. And it's one thing to like accuse somebody of that exists, right, of a crime. Like that is clearly a crime. But if it's somebody who doesn't even exist, I mean, what do you think would be a fair? If this woman faked this? Which, I mean, come on. If she faked this, what do you think her punishment should be? She definitely has to pay a fine, and there has to be some kind of probation. Does she get jail time? Does she get like a felony record for this? I don't know. What do you think? What the fuck is up, internet? I'm that dude Swainzilla, aka old guy with too much time on his hands, coming at you from the man cave, and this is crazy ass news. Carlee Russell case, 9/11 calls, strange search history released. Man, I would never do anything like this. The risk of getting caught is just way too high. I mean, I'm not afraid of going to jail, but this is the kind of thing where the media is definitely putting out your search history. If she did fake this, like why? Why do people like pretend that something bad happened to them? I mean, I feel like it's definitely a pity thing. They want people to feel bad for them. They want people to talk about them. I don't know. I mean, granted, it's probably unlikely that she thought that this story was going to blow up like this and make her like an overnight like celebrity slash, you know, she's gonna be kind of a laughing stock. She put herself out there, and she's gonna, if she actually did do this, she's gonna be the butt of a lot of jokes. Authorities in Hoover, Alabama released Carlee Russell's full 9/11 call before her disappearance and revealed internet searches they believe could be connected to the case. They released her 911 call.
Hi, I am on Interstate 459, and there's just a kid just walking by themselves.
Oh, hold on. Where in Fulton are you?
I'm right next to the exit 10 by the Cumberland, like you get off by the Cumberland.
Okay, so you're before that exit?
Yes.
Okay, and you headed southbound?
I mean, this is sped up, but she sounds really calm doing this.
Towards Tuscaloosa.
Okay, and was the child on the left or right side?
On the right side.
Were they walking northbound or southbound?
They're walking towards Tuscaloosa.
Walking southbound? Or how old do they look?
Like a toddler, like maybe like 3 or 4.
Like 3 or 4?
Did you pull over with them? Are you still with them?
Yes.
Okay, are you with the child right now?
No, I'm not. I didn't get out of the car. I can see them though.
Can you
I can see
mind
them.
staying and keep an eye on them until we get there?
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Okay, what kind of car are you in?
I'm in a red Mercedes-Benz.
Is it
She's in a red Mercedes?
SUV. I mean, it's a sedan. Sorry.
Can you put your hazards on for me?
Yeah, they're on.
Okay. Did you talk to the child at all, or did you say anything to them?
No.
Okay.
No.
Do they look like they're injured?
No, they don't.
Are they white, black, Hispanic, or Asian?
They're white.
Okay.
Or what?
Is it male or female?
I think it's a boy, a little boy.
White male? Okay. So is he wearing clothes?
Yes.
Okay. What is he wearing?
It's a white t-shirt, and it doesn't look like he has any pants on. It looks like a diaper.
And you don't see
A diaper.
No, no cars anywhere.
Okay. All right. What's your name?
My name is Carlee Russell.
She got real
And you don't see
descriptive.
injuries on the child from where you're at, correct?
No, I can't really see them that good.
Okay. Try to keep an eye on them for the best that you can, because I don't want you to lose track of them.
Okay.
All right. And do they have shoes on?
No.
Oh, she-
Nothing I can see. I can't really see that. Look.
Okay. All right. I've got them on the way, okay? Just try to keep an eye on them, but officers are on the way, okay?
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
I don't really know what to make of that. I mean, I was watching it like sped up, so it's really hard to tell what her like emotional stuff was. But I feel like she was kind of calm, and even though it was sped up, she was pretty quick on answering the dispatcher's questions. Like, I don't know. I don't really know what to make of that. I wonder why they released that. I wonder what the point of releasing that video was. I don't know. What did you make of it? And police emphasized that there was no reason to believe there was any danger to the public at this time. I mean, that's why I'm like, when did they start? When did they think? Was it the 911 call when they were like, "Oh, this bitch is full of shit"? When did they figure it out? When they figured out like this lady is bullshitting, and they must have been like, it's dumbfounded. Like, why would she fake this? Maybe if you're a cop, you hear more about this kind of stuff. I don't know, but it just seems there's definitely been stories. I mean, we go to the Smollett case, and then there was just a woman who claimed that some Mexican people stole her kid. I think she was like an influencer, but yeah. So it's common, but I mean, maybe in the media, but I wonder if it's more common than police, and they're just like, oh Jesus, here we go again.
Here we go again.
And so she disappeared on the 13th and returned home 49 hours later after massive search efforts. So 49 hours, like, where do you plan on going when you're faking your own kidnapping? Like, did she have a spot planned out? Did she just drive around? I don't know if her car was... Wait, was her car still there? I think her car was still there. Did she have an accomplice? Did somebody drive her away? Because I think all of her stuff was left too. Yeah, that's the mystery to me, is where the hell did she go for 49 hours? So after she called the cops, I think she called her family. I don't know the exact timeline, but she called her family to tell them that she saw this toddler on the side of the road too. And so they're like, oh shit. And I wonder like what her, I mean, does she have a history of doing shit like this within the family? And the family's like, oh no, what the hell? And then apparently she like screamed, and then the cops came, but she wasn't there and the kid wasn't around. Like, and it makes you like wonder, like, where did she come up with this story? Like, if she made this up, where did she I've never heard this before. This I think that's why it drew so much attention, was that nobody'd heard like a scenario like this. It sounds like something that could happen, you know what I mean? But like, to hear that it actually happened, you're like, oh shit, they used a fucking kid. It's because it sounded like they used kid as bait to fucking snatch up a chick or somebody. I don't know why. What if the cops showed up? What if the cops seen it before she did and busted up their whole operation? I don't know, but it's so crazy that wherever she came up with that story, it stuck. I mean, it was definitely something that people were interested in finding out more about. That's for sure. Cell phone data shows that she traveled the length of 6 football fields while on the phone with 911, supposedly following the child she saw. But the police found it strange for the toddler to travel so far alone without crying or getting into the road. And I'm thinking, I mean, that phone call was only a few minutes long, so I don't know how she traveled 6 football fields unless she was in the car. Like, she was driving. Oh, so she was driving. She made it sound like she pulled over, but she called him and was driving. That's why. That's when they knew. As soon as they saw that cell phone data, I was like, this bitch didn't stop driving. Like, she traveled for 6 football fields while on the phone telling 911 that she was parked with her hazards on. So that's when they figured out that she was full of shit. Okay.
Exactly.
Searches from Russell's cell phone and work computer on the day of her disappearance included queries about Amber Alerts, stealing money from a register, bus tickets from Alabama to Nashville, Tennessee, and information about the movie Taken, which involves an abduction. So she planned her fake kidnapping and a fucking heist for the same day. Like, she's multitasking. Like, she's trying to knock a couple things off a bucket list in one shot. Like, I wonder if that's what I wonder if she did go somewhere for that 49 hours. Did she go and try to knock off a place and fucking... She's in Alabama, so she was going to Nashville. I wonder if she tried to rob a place in Nashville and then it didn't work out and she came back. How crazy would it have been if she faked her kidnapping, went to Nashville, and then got busted trying to rob a bank. Or, well, it said from a register, so she probably was like gonna rob a Minute Mart or something. But wow, how crazy is that? Like Taken? Like, what? She researched Taken before her own fake kidnapping? None of the shit she did matches up. Like, who is she supposed to be? She's the one that got kidnapped. I don't know. That raises my eyebrows a little bit. Like, what? Why did she watch Taken? I don't get it. Authorities didn't find any drugs or alcohol in Russell's system or evidence of mental illness. I mean, in this case, like, this sounds like something a crazy person would do. So, like, what do you mean? What is the threshold of calling something a mental illness? Like, pretending that you saw a toddler on the side of the road and faked your own kidnapping is crazy people shit. Like, regardless of diagnosis, like, that shit is crazy.
You know she's crazy.
In her initial statement, Russell described being taken by a white male with orange hair and a woman in an 18-wheeler, held blindfolded in a house, then later escaping through the woods to return home. However, the police were unable to verify her statements. She ran through the woods, but now she can't lead the police back to where she was at? Like, how did she know where she was at to get back home? Like, if she was kidnapped in an 18-wheeler and blindfolded, how the fuck did she know how to get back home? Like, there's holes popping. Like, she did not plan this very well. That's probably why she was watching Taken, to plan her own fake kidnapping, because she's not very smart. But if she did make this story up, I mean, it's pretty original. Detectives plan to conduct initial interviews with Russell once she has had more time to recover. They're in no hurry, right? Like, they know that she was fake. She faked this whole thing. They know that they're making her sweat. They're gonna get her to confess, so they don't really have to investigate anything. They've already decided we're just gonna wait it out. Once she's like gonna talk to us, I mean, at a certain point, they're just gonna make her talk to him. I mean, she can't just fucking the kind of scrutiny of this story, and especially now that everybody thinks that she's lying, like, they're gonna be under way too much pressure to let this chick slide, and she's gonna have to just confess to being dumb as fuck, and hopefully that the courts take pity on her, because I mean, they probably did investigate, and the way this kind of blew up, I mean, they probably spent some money, and she's definitely gonna have to pay that shit back.
No, you know what? Oh. You gonna get the money back, bro. I don't know if you know this or not, but you gonna get the money back.
We want our money back.
I mean, the main question to me, though, was that 49 hours. Like, where was she at? What was she doing? Was she alone? Was she able to see, like, the impact her little phone call and fake kidnapping had? Like, did she see that all of that shit, like, kind of blew up? And now that's probably why she ended up coming back. She's like, oh my god, I gotta fucking, this is gonna get even crazier than it already is. I mean, but I can't wait to find out where the hell she was at, because they're definitely gonna find out for sure. If she doesn't tell them, they're gonna find out. There's gonna be plenty of people who saw her. The police declined to comment on whether Russell would face charges, but expressed confidence in eventually uncovering the truth of what happened. I mean, like I said, they have to at least find her. I don't know what the consequences of something like this should be. Like,
they put you in jail right away. No trial, no nothing.
They have to figure out a way to make people not want to do this. So I feel like this person's not famous. She did have a Mercedes, so maybe she does have good lawyers and stuff. But they have to make an example. They might try to make an example of this woman, even though I feel like they weren't. There's just going to be too much pressure. There's just, you know what I mean? There's too much pressure. They're going to have to. This chick might be in some trouble. She might be in some trouble, other than just being like a meme. She's definitely going to get made fun of the rest of her life. But I don't know. What do you think about this story? Why do you think that people are motivated to do this kind of thing? Is it just for attention? Should it be qualified as a mental illness to go to this fucking length to get people to talk about you or pay attention to you? Like, I mean, I feel like, what was it? Remember the guy who fucking had a fake, pretended he died and showed up at his funeral, his own funeral, because people were paying enough attention to him? He felt some type of way about it. Like, that's narcissism, right? Like, I guess it's not really a mental illness, more as it's a characteristic. But I mean, like, at a certain point, like aggravated narcissism, like to get this woman probably had no clue that she was going to cause such a ruckus. But I mean, I don't know why you would do stuff like this. Other people make up stories about themselves all the time in just regular conversation. You know what I mean? People fucking exaggerate all kinds of shit they did. But like, to get the fucking police involved, I mean, that's just a different level. That's just crazy. What's the craziest thing you've ever done for attention? I mean, for me, back in high school, I was always a new kid. So at first, I ended up having to fight. When I would move to a new school, I'd have to fight all the goddamn time because people would pick on me. And I just wasn't, I wouldn't stand for it. I was kind of a dickhead when I was a kid. But at a certain point, I decided to, instead of fighting people, I kind of just became, I don't know if I consciously decided to become like a class clown type. I think I was just inspired by Saturday Night Live to try to make people laugh instead of fight all the time. Plus, I didn't like getting yelled at. I did like missing school because I get suspended. Independence. I started doing these fake Chris Farley seizure outbursts in the middle of class. Like, I would be banging on my chest, I'd get on the floor, I'd spin around, thrashing around, and everybody loved that shit. Every other class period, Swain, do the seizure. Swain, have a seizure. And I ate that shit up. That's probably the craziest thing I've ever done for attention.
That's cool.
And going back to, you know what I mean, what I've been asking throughout this is, what do you think is a legitimate punishment? Like, what is a good punishment for doing this type of shit? Like, what would you call this other than lying to authorities? False. And it's one thing to, like, accuse somebody that exists, right, of a crime. Like, that is clearly a crime. But if it's somebody who doesn't even exist, I mean, what do you think would be a fair... if this woman faked this, which, I mean, come on. If she faked this, what do you think her punishment should be? She definitely has to pay a fine, and there has to be some kind of probation. Does she get jail time? Does she get, like, a felony record for this? I don't know. What do you think? How did this story make you feel? It made me feel like there are just people out there that are desperate for attention. And then I think at this stage of the game, we have to reevaluate, like, what mental health is. What is a crisis? Like, somebody does something like just outlandish. I feel like we have to look at it differently. There's got to be something that's fueling that, right? It's got to be mental illness. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody should be a drone and act the same way, but like something like this that's done purposefully to, like, draw attention to yourself, I mean, that's got to be clinical, right? Like, that we need to find we need to find a way to treat people like that are narcissistic in this way. Anyway, that's all I have for now. I'll catch you on the next one later.